You don't have to say it, they pay you.
Oh, is this one?
Yeah, Teva. This one. Vav at the very end of Vav. Arashay Yischazek, Aydeza the kind of Tzadikim Amitim, Shabbasim as a Gush of Ruim, Samech Zatzmo, because Tobish Shemot say Bo Adayim Labo Es Hashem. What we just said, it's a combination of entire piece. What we just said was, and the next piece is going to elaborate very powerfully on this, but explain it. But what we just said was that people, when they learn Musar, they feel, ethical direction, whatever it may be. Very often they feel like it turns them off, it hurts them. It's painful. The person says, I'm not on this level. I'm not there. So, why am I learning this? It's just making things hard for me. It's making me depressed. It's making me feel bad. So why am I doing this for? Not everyone's that way. Some are, some aren't. But there are many people you'll meet. And I even met one guy also from Sameach. And I asked him, who's your Rebbe? So I'm a Volpish. His bright mind. I said, wow, so I'm sure you must learn Mussar. What must you learn? So he said the astounding thing. He said, no, I don't learn Mussar. Mussar doesn't work. What? Volpish Rebbe, you say this doesn't work. It's like very, somehow it can't work. It doesn't work together. His whole pathway of doing things is through Muslims. How could it be? So he said, no, I tried it and tell you, it didn't help me at all. I don't look at this and that's it. I'm not supposed to do it. I'm sure he didn't ask him about that. I'm just saying that he had no idea what it was all about. So, in terms of, before going to the next piece, where he explains more specifically what and why, what Nassim says in this first piece, the beginning piece, the introduction piece, in Pevav 86, he says, listen, we have spiritual guides, right? All the way to the beginning. Everyone says don't give up. Everyone says you can always do tshuva no matter what. You're here for a reason. So why aren't you obeying their directives? He said, if you're going to obey their directives, it doesn't mean to dray around, to go around and be in a state of despair. That's not what they mean when they say don't give up. You want you're in a state of despair. That's it for a very long time. Remember, said once, he said it was a couple that had kids and had a hard time having children a whole bunch of years. So his wife, she said, I went to call a Verlander because I have an inter with you. I have a problem. I need someone here who could help. Great person. He certainly qualifies. So he said, I came here. He told us the shit. He said, I came over. I think in New York. I think he said, I came to these people, and listen. The husband says, maybe the telephone will be all right. I never believe that. So I said, I don't know what to say. But the guy's in bed all day. He's in bed all day. He's hardly getting out of bed. He's very heavy. He's not moving. He has no simcha. He has no life, no joy, no vitality. But this means he believes in the Ruach Tzadikim. Doesn't sound right to me. I don't know. Is that what it's supposed to look like? He said, she's right. You gotta start moving. You gotta be full of vitality. Maybe she would help. Also, down for you there. She said within a year they had a kid. He started changing his ways. It can't be. It can't be. Versus, I don't give up. You hang your spoke cloud. Why are you going around where your face is like hanging and so slapping and dragging his feet one in front of the other? Well, okay, so I did give up. That's the person has to say no. You say don't give up. I have to keep trucking, keep working. You have to know that if that's what they're telling me to do, that means what does that mean? How am I supposed to not give up if I learn something that's powerful Musar? So obviously the Musar has to push you to find your good points. As the Rasul says, push you to say, I'm going to find good points. I'm going to try better. I have Yira that's for good. Not Yira that's going to break me. The Yira is supposed to be for good. He said, real Yira Sa'onish comes from a high place, from the time of Mashiach. This Yira Sa'onish makes the person, he understands, what I do still counts. And every little thing I do, it counts. So I have to really, really make a new inventory. Like the Rebbe said, one time, there was a person who was having a hard time. The person, I have no positive, I don't know what to do. I can't see any good points. What are good points? I'm so far away. So I said, you're right, you have good points. He said, what? But I did this, but I did that, so you have good points. So the person who feels under pressure, the Rebbe said, this is an answer, a person that says, yeah, there's nothing. Sometimes you have to go that way. So he said, no, there is. Yes, there is. But he has to look and search till he finds a good point in something. There's good in you. There's good enough. So we have to find it. So the Yir source is to bring us, I have to listen to guys, not to give up. I feel very under a lot of pressure. I feel under fire. So So I have to start searching for the good points. I have to start searching like a madman for the good points. That's one time they passed, there was a fire, the house burned down. And when the house burned down, these wooden structures, what was left of it, who knows? Not much. And there was a guy thinking like a madman, looking, maybe something will be left there from his home. He was destitute of Nebuch. Who knows what he had? Nothing. Any little thing could be worth a few pennies, was worth something to him. Nebuch, he lost everything. So that's how you have to dig for good points. See? It's been burnt Yuma. Search, maybe, then you'll find. That's what I said. The first thing has to search is until you find it. There's no such thing as not funny for sure. You're for sure going to find. You just have to search and search and search until you get there, until you get it. That's what we're trying to do. So if we're on the case of since I spoke about revolver, I like to put together two pieces that are in separate places that give a little bit of light about how he made it. On the one hand, he said that when he was in Sweden, people were falling away left, right, and center. It was during the Holocaust, it was very hard times. People who even been in positions of authority before the war, they just slipped to very serious affairs. Far away, they were very far. He said, I was there. He said, I think it was 8 years he was there. And it was very hard. He was a bacher, he wasn't married, he was a teacher, he had a miracle. He was an emir, and Poland, there was a war, they started declaring war with Germany. So he said, any German citizens came from Berlin. I think it was after Kristallnacht. And they heard serious stuff had happened. Any German citizen is deported. He has to go back because he might be a spy. He was like, it's like a very dangerous place to be in Germany now. They didn't know to what extent, but it wasn't a good place to go. It wouldn't be that. So he's going to go to Germany? But he had agreed, he wanted to make a yeshiva in Sweden or something. He spoke to some guy from Sweden, he made some shtalos like months before. So suddenly the guy said to him, that day literally got a visa to Sweden. He said, we can't make a yeshiva now, we can't really, what you wanted to do, but I want you to come teach like some kids. We'll try and do something. He's like, oh, saved my life. And he got out of there. Sweden better than Berlin. I'm not going back to Berlin. That's crazy. So he went out. Went to Sweden. It was such a desolation, a wilderness. There was nowhere to daven with him in. There was nothing. Totally wilderness. And he said, people ask me, how did I make it through this wilderness? How did I get through it? How could it be? I grew. He said, one place he was. They're talking about davening with alone, and he tried to focus on davening, he really learned how to daven. He built him up. He said, I don't think that's a big deal. He said, because it's like a person in a famine. People say, well, how do you live? Famine, terrible hunger, and you made it through. He said, yeah, I made it through because I had a stock of bread and canned goods and water. Everything said, wow, big deal. Anyone could have done it. He said, I had my musr, and the musr, I made it through. That's what he said about after the fact, describing it in one of his farms. But in another place he reports, he told the students that at first, after a few months of working the Musar, he was very discouraged. Very, very discouraged. And he wrote to Rav Chaskel Eberstein, he said, what am I supposed to do? The Musar is not helping. Maybe you have another way how I do it. I'm learning. Nothing's happening. I'm just, how bad I am. I see, it's not going. So Rav Chaskel Eberstein answered him like this. He said, first of all, you're not the balabas, you're not the person who's in charge of yourself to really know if it's going or it's not going. You can't have no clue why, because you feel it's going, you feel it's not going, your feelings don't prove anything. Doesn't mean anything. He said, and second of all, I'll tell you for sure it's going. You just don't see the results yet. If you keep it up and you hang on and you keep trying, you keep trucking, you're going to see incredible results. You're going to be very, very appreciative for every bit of Muslim, just the way you're learning. That was the answer. And eventually it came through. So it's the same thing with everything. We have to just keep trying, keep realizing that my feelings don't prove anything, it doesn't show anything. It's I feel this, I feel that. You feel the other thing, you feel the other thing. But just do what you can, do your best, keep working. And not let it disturb me. It doesn't have to disturb me. It doesn't have to make me feel bad because I see that I have far way to go. Because first of all, Hashem doesn't want me to go faster than I can go. I take one step at a time. I'm not supposed to become whatever, some big mashkiach or some big Rosh Hashiva, who knows what, or some person who's worked for 60 years in 2 minutes. Because I want to be. That's ridiculous. So you can't get there and it's too fast. But let's try to work on it, try to put it down for it, and start moving in that direction. That's his job. So when I learn something about what I want to get to, it has to be an aspiration. I'm aspiring to, but like not to be pressured in a way that's not going to pressure me to search for my good points more than to try to galvanize myself to move forward. I have to galvanize myself to move forward also. Sometimes there's a situation where a person, Rassan says, usually feeling bad about something is a worthless, it's just wasting your time. It can lead to very bad things. It's not going to help at all. That's generally what happens. He said, but there is an exception. A person takes it and changes direction because of it, then it's good. Then it's positive. So that's rare though. Usually it happens pretty quickly. It doesn't take 3 months. Certainly a person not falling into depression because of it. He feels like he wants to change his volume. You know, like the confidence he feels down. He feels down, he can't do any positive change. He can't get anywhere without feeling good. It's not going to help you. It's not going to be positive. It's not going to move a person to real change, dynamic change. He feels depressed. He's dragging his feet on the floor. It's not going to go anywhere. You've got to be happy. You've got to see his good points. Like, I can do it. I want to get somewhere. That's when you're going to get somewhere. He said, but usually it's completely counterproductive to indulge in negativity, to indulge in feeling bad. It doesn't help. It doesn't do anything positive. It doesn't help at all. That's what he's basically saying. Is when you learn the Mussar, you have to know that if I persevere and I hang on, I'm going to get to these levels, and that I'm not supposed to get there today. If not, I'm bad. I have to show work. It's bad. I have to try. I have to do my best. I have to galvanize me to get the year of Mashiach, the year of searching for the good points. Not the year of feeling bad and feel like I hit with a bat. That's not what they wrote this morning. They wrote this morning to uplift a person. So it counts. It matters. The Pachadjitzko says something very interesting. He says, a person withstands a spiritual test. So the reward of the spiritual test is the difficulty and the pain of going through the spiritual test. So Rav Huna says, listen, one might think that asking Hashem for help, please Hashem, help me overcome this test. This is hard for me, that's in a certain way a bad idea, because then he'll have an easier time overcoming the test. And he won't have such difficulty, he won't have to exert himself, it won't be such a pain, such a hard test. Okay, that's what Rav Huna said, no, that's an incorrect equation. What's wrong with this equation? He said, what's wrong with this equation is that for every instant that I daven to Hashem to help me about a test that I foresee could happen, he said, that isn't also, I'm in pain, I'm worried, I'm not in a bad way worried, I'm feeling bad, but what's going to be, how will I overcome this? He said, that every little bit of that also counts towards the calculation of working out what the reward is. He gets at least as much reward. Because if he limited the test because of his worrying and thinking about it and being bothered by it, I don't want to fall. I don't want to fall this way. I want to fall. I don't want to go after my eyes. I don't want to go after my bad thoughts. I don't want any of this stuff. I want holiness. I want to put top on. So that has a very strong effect on him. He says every little bit of pain, every little bit of suffering, every little bit of thought about it, that's also part of the reward. So when a person, that's what Rassan says elsewhere, maybe even sooner, I don't remember which shtickle he says it here, but he says, if you learn, and say from Mussar, you learn something, you hear about something, you realize that you have something negative, you say, wow, I feel so bad about that. He said, that comes from the source from a really great Nekudat Tova, it comes from an incredible good point. You want to change. It means I want to change. What does that mean? You don't have a munah. It means you have profound munah. You want to change it. You don't like it. This is not what I want. He said, that's great. Why don't you see that as a good point? You just have to be either perfect or not. What? You have to realize that Baruch Hashem, I have a certain level of munah, and I want to change it. And that's wonderful. And that's great. He said they must give as it were, the free thinkers, whatever, the first thing they do is throw out a munah. Oh, it doesn't matter what you do. But I still know. I care. It bothers me. I don't want to fall this way. Or to be better. The reason why I learned Sifrei Mussar, it bothers me because I want to be better. And that's great. That's wonderful. That's really what you want to get to from the Sifrei Mussar. You want to get to this place. That's what Dessler also says. He says a person, on the one hand, every person, and we all have our place in the above. We all have. Hashem is very merciful. He said, well, it's not worth it. It's not worthwhile to go through life that way. It's worthwhile to go through life not feeling bad, feeling happy. Realizing, keep on striving, keep on trying to move forward. But realizing, I want to get to a different level. I want to get to a higher level. I want to be on a level of a tzaddik, or at least aspiring to be a tzaddik, trying to get to a higher place. I don't want to stay where I am. Why should I stay where I am in the same place? That's what it says here in Pei-Vav. Tomorrow we'll do Pei Zayin. We'll see exactly, he goes to specifics of how do I deal with Sifrei Mussar. Hashem Shalom Zocher to have real chizuk, real